Cardio is king in MMA, but why do so many fighters still run out of gas when it matters most? You train hard, road work, intervals, endless sparring, but if your conditioning isn't structured correctly, it's like driving a sports car with a broken fuel system, powerful but inefficient. This guide gives you a step-by-step cardio system that improves as you do. You'll get a clear blueprint for each phase of training, how far to run, when to push, when to recover, and exactly when to level up. Follow this plan, and your endurance will go from sputtering to unstoppable, giving you the edge to dominate every round while your opponents fade. Some fighters stay sharp in round 5, while others can barely keep their hands up. The foundation phase is where champions are built. Most fighters make the critical mistake of jumping straight into high-intensity work without first developing a strong aerobic base. They focus on explosive power and flashy drills, but neglect the system that actually sustains them when it matters most. Your body has 3 energy systems, but the aerobic system is your recovery powerhouse for fight endurance. It actively replenishes your energy between explosive bursts and rounds, working constantly throughout your fight, even during intense exchanges. As you exercise, your body shifts fuel sources based on intensity. At lower intensities, you primarily burn fat, but as intensity increases, you rely more heavily on carbohydrates. This metabolic flexibility allows fighters to maintain performance across multiple rounds without crashing. In weeks 1 through 4, the goal is to strengthen your heart's ability to deliver oxygen efficiently. Think of it like laying the foundation for a house. You can't build strong walls without a solid base. Your body needs time to develop the internal systems that improve endurance, helping you last longer in fights without burning out. Your weekly training plan includes 3 low-intensity cardio sessions, 30 to 45 minutes at a comfortable pace where you can talk easily, 1 threshold session, moderate effort to slightly push your limits, 1 technical cardio day, integrating movement with endurance training. Keep your heart rate between 120 to 150 beats per minute. This is the sweet spot for building endurance without draining your recovery. Swimming, jogging, or light cycling work perfectly during this phase. The consistent, prolonged effort creates physiological adaptations that dramatically improve recovery between high-intensity efforts. Your heart becomes more efficient, your blood delivers oxygen better, and your muscles utilize that oxygen more effectively. To track your progress, monitor your resting heart rate (RHR) every morning. If it hasn't gone down after 2 weeks, you're either training too hard or not recovering properly. A simple rule: if your RHR is 5+ beats above your normal baseline, take an active recovery day to avoid overtraining. The most effective way to build your gas tank: easy 30-minute runs at 120 to 150 beats per minute, where you can still hold a conversation. This strengthens your endurance without burning you out. Many fighters think they need to push to exhaustion daily, but real progress comes from consistent, moderate intensity training that builds your cardio system over time. Stick to 3 sessions per week, spaced out in your training schedule. These runs won't leave you exhausted, but they boost recovery and endurance, giving you an edge in later rounds. Fighters who skip this phase often gas out early. Those who commit will be ready for Phase 2's high-intensity power intervals. Those foundation sessions are just the beginning, but what happens when your opponent pushes the pace in round 2? Fighters who dominate late in fights understand a crucial truth: maintaining explosive power under fatigue requires a specific type of conditioning that 90% of MMA athletes completely miss in their training. We're entering Phase 2 of your cardio development, where we transform that solid aerobic foundation into genuine power endurance. Building on the consistent base we established in Phase 1, this is where fighters who fade get separated from those who thrive as the fight progresses. High-intensity training is essential, but structure is what makes it effective. Instead of randomly pushing yourself to exhaustion, Phase 2 introduces cardiac power intervals, short 60 to 120-second bursts of maximum effort, followed by 2 to 5 minutes of recovery. This method mimics real fight demands, where you must explode for takedowns or combinations, then recover while staying alert and ready to strike again. Your training schedule now shifts to include 2 cardiac power interval sessions, 2 aerobic maintenance sessions, and 1 sport-specific power endurance day. This balance builds explosive explosive fight power while maintaining the endurance base you developed in Phase 1. Choosing the right equipment makes a difference. The assault bike develops full body power similar to explosive takedowns. Rowing builds pulling strength, improving clinch work, and grappling endurance. Swimming aids recovery while providing a full-body cardio workout. In this phase, we also shift from heart rate tracking to power output tracking. The key test: can you maintain the same power output in your final interval as in your first? Elite fighters can hold 90% of their power across multiple rounds. Those who can't are the ones who fade in later rounds. If your power drops more than 20% from your first interval to your last, it's a sign you're either starting too hard or not recovering enough between sessions. Tracking your output helps prevent wasted effort and ensures you're training at the right intensity to build real fight endurance without burning out. Many fighters ask about optimal cardio frequency. For Phase 2, 5 carefully structured sessions beats the 7 to 10 attempts that lead to overtraining. Adaptation happens during recovery, not during the workout itself. Implementation is straightforward. Start with 4 to 6 power intervals in week 5, building to 8 to 10 by week 8. A sample session, 5-minute warm-up, then 60 seconds all out on the air bike, followed by 3 minutes of active recovery, repeated 6 times, ending with a 5-minute cooldown. The benchmark for success is clear. By week 8, you should complete 8 to 10 power intervals with less than 10% power drop-off between your first and last effort. When you hit that mark, you're ready to advance to fight-specific conditioning, where we'll integrate these energy systems directly with your technical skills. Now that you've built a strong power endurance foundation, it's time to enter the phase where champions are made. Some fighters keep their technique sharp in round 5, while others resort to wild, sloppy haymakers. The difference isn't just about being tired. It's about developing fatigue resistance, a crucial skill that many MMA athletes overlook. Welcome to Phase 3, Fight-Specific Conditioning. This is where we bridge the gap between having great general cardio and maintaining technical excellence when it matters most. Think of it like this: your techniques and conditioning are no longer separate training elements, but become fused together. Just like in an actual fight where you can't call a timeout to recover before throwing your next combination. Your weekly blueprint now evolves into a more specialized format: 2 fight simulation circuits, 1 power maintenance session to preserve what you built in Phase 2, 1 aerobic maintenance session to support recovery, and 1 active recovery day to keep your body fresh. The fight simulation circuits are where the magic happens. These mirror real fight conditions with 5-minute rounds and 1-minute breaks. You'll move through stations of shadowboxing, heavy bag work, wrestling dummy drills, and explosive movements that challenge both your skills and energy systems simultaneously. The secret ingredient? Varying intensity within each round. 30 seconds moderate, 20 seconds high intensity, 10 seconds all-out effort, replicating a fight's natural ebb and flow. For the ground fighter, specialized conditioning includes wrestlers' bridges build neck endurance for defending submissions. Sprawl to stand drills prepare you for defending takedown attempts. Technical stand-ups with resistance bands simulate creating space against an opponent's weight. Striking-specific cardio has its own unique demands. Heavy bag intervals with varying speeds train your body to change tempo while maintaining form. Shadowboxing with light dumbbells, 1 to 3 pounds, builds shoulder endurance, so your hands don't drop in later rounds. Footwork drills with directional changes develop the lower body stamina needed for proper distance control. Just as important is the mental conditioning. During your most challenging intervals, visualize executing perfect technique. This creates neural pathways that help you access clean form even when physically exhausted. The benchmark for success in Phase 3 is clear. By week 12, you should maintain 85 to 90% of your technical proficiency even in the final minutes of your hardest rounds. This doesn't mean you won't feel tired. Everyone does. It means your technique remains effective despite that fatigue, transforming you from someone who merely trains into a complete fighter. Championship fights expose who's truly prepared. The stats don't lie. Nearly 60% of UFC title bouts are decided in the later rounds. Those final minutes separate champions from everyone else. Take Khabib Nurmagomedov, who made conditioning his weapon. In high-stakes fights, he never gassed out, maintaining relentless pressure while his opponents crumbled. That level of endurance isn't luck. luck. It's the result of structured, strategic training. This 12-week progression isn't just about working hard, it's about working smart. It's the same blueprint elite fighters use to dominate when others fade. Championship moments don't just test skill, they test preparation. If you found this guide helpful, like, subscribe, and share your own MMA cardio tips in the comments. Keep training smart, and I'll see you in the later rounds.